Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Fawaz Asfar bin Abdul Ghaffar. I want to share with you a short video titled Threats, Conservation Measures and Recommendation for Bryophytes. This is based on chapter 8 in our biology class. I hope you enjoy the video and find it informative. So first, what are bryophytes? Bryophytes are non-vascular plants. That means they don't have xylem or phloem like higher plants. They include mosses, liverworts, and hornworts. They reproduce using spores, not seeds, and they absorb water and nutrition directly through their leaves. Even though they are small, they are very important for ecosystems. They help retain moisture in the soil, prevent erosion, support biodiversity, and some species also store carbon. In Malaysia, we have over 1,500 recorded bryophyte species. Many of them are endemic, especially in highland areas like Cameron Highlands and Mount Kinabalu. So now we look at the threats. Bryophytes are very vulnerable to environmental stress. They absorb everything, water, air, directly through their surfaces. That means when the environment becomes polluted or disturbed, they get affected very fast. Globally and also in Malaysia, habitat loss, pollution, and human activities are the main threats. According to the IUCN, over 1,800 bryophyte species are threatened worldwide. One major threat is habitat destruction. In Malaysia, this happens when forests are cleared for agriculture, especially oil palm plantations or urban development. When that happens, bryophytes lose their microhabitats, like moist rocks, tree bark, and forest floor. Also, slash and burn cultivation destroys the spores before they can disperse. And because many bryophytes only grow in one type of environment, like specific forest or altitude, once it's gone, they cannot survive anywhere else. The second threat is air pollution and climate change. Bryophytes are sensitive to pollutants like sulfur dioxide, ammonia, and heavy metals. In industrial or urban areas, like parts of Selangor or Johor, air pollution can change the pH of rainfall, making it acidic. This makes it hard for bryophytes to absorb water. Also, with climate change, we have longer dry seasons and unpredictable rainfall. This disturbs the moisture levels that bryophytes really depend on. Another issue is invasive species. For example, non-native mosses or aggressive plants can spread and outcompete local bryophytes. In Malaysia's highlands, certain aggressive ferns or grasses sometimes take over most dominated areas. And many bryophytes are endemic, meaning they are found only in one area, like some mosses on Mount Tahan or Gunung Mulu. If anything happens to those places, the bryophyte species there might go extinct. Now, let's talk about conservation. There are two main strategies, habitat-based and species-based. Both are important, and we should use them together to protect bryophytes. Malaysia is slowly increasing attention to non-vascular plants, but more still needs to be done. Habitat conservation means we protect the whole ecosystem where bryophytes live. For example, protecting mountain forests in Sabah or riparian zones in peninsular Malaysia helps preserve the microclimate bryophytes need. Forest reserves like Royal Belong and Endau Rompin are home to many species, but we must make sure the protection is strict and enforcement is strong. Species-based conservation means we focus on the rare or endangered bryophytes directly. This includes studying their life cycle, distribution, and threats. For example, Legionella kinabalensis, a liverwort species found only in Mount Kinabalu, should have special monitoring programs. In Malaysia, this kind of work is limited, so we need more research and funding. Laws and awareness are also important. In Malaysia, the National Biodiversity Policy and the Environmental Quality Act mostly focus on animals and vascular plants, not bryophytes. So we need to include bryophytes in conservation laws. Also, more education is needed. If public doesn't know bryophytes exist, how can they care? NGOs and schools can play a big role. Ex situ conservation means taking the species out of their habitat and keeping them safe somewhere else. In Malaysia, the Forest Research Institute Malaysia, or known as FRAME, and University Malaya have some labs where bryophytes are grown in controlled conditions. Tissue culture, cryopreservation, and moss gardens are examples. This is useful when natural habitats are already damaged and when we need to study the species in detail. So, what can we do? First, we need more research to identify which bryophytes are rare and which habitats are critical. We should use modern tools like DNA barcoding for species identification. Also, conservation plans must include bryophytes, not just big animals or trees. Malaysia should make national level bryophyte databases and red lists. NGOs like Malaysian Nature Society or MNS can help by funding research or raising awareness. Citizen scientists can also help. Apps like iNaturalist allow people to record bryophytes they find. We should create user-friendly materials like illustrated books and field guides in Bahasa Malaysia so more people can learn. Universities can help train more young bryologists. So to conclude, even though bryophytes are small, their role is huge. They are one of the oldest plant groups on Earth, and they still support mission efforts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new about bryophyte conservation.